Good morning, one and all. I welcome you all to the second video section. And my name is Anusha Bhatmavadi, working as an assistant professor in temporary basis in Government College of Engineering, Tirunelveli. So, these are the topics which we are going to discuss in this video section. First one, multiple adaptive linear neuron, called as an MADLEN. So in the previous video, we saw about the ADLIN, which is an adaptive linear network neurons. But here, MADLIN, it is a combination of many ADLINs and arranged in a multi-layered architecture. It resembles the general neural network structure. It would be presented with a large dimensional input, the pixel values from a raster scan with suitable training. The network would be thought to respond with a binary 1 of several output nodes, each of which corresponds to a different category of input image. So this is the architecture, that means connection of various ADLIN network in a single unit. It's called as MADLIN. Many ADLINs can compute the XOR functions of two inputs. A positive analog output from an ALC results in an A+1 output from the associated ADLIN. Here, the negative analog output results in any inputs to the device that are binary in nature must use plus or minus 1 rather than 1 and 0. So, the MRII training algorithm. It is a basic algorithm which is used in MADLIN. It is based on the LMS algorithm, least mean square algorithm. The method relies on replacing the linear threshold output function with a continuously differentiable function. So MRII resembles a procedure with added intelligence in the form of a minimum disturbance principle. The output of the network is a series of bipolar units. Training amounts to reduce the number of incorrect output nodes for each training input pattern. Here the first step is to apply the training vector to the inputs of the MADLIN and propagate it through the output unit. And the step 2 is to count the number of incorrect values in the output layer and call this number the error. The step 3 is for all the units on the output layer. Step 4, have to repeat the third step for all the layers except the input layer. And the fifth step is to, for all the units on the output layer, when the output of each input propagates the input vector forward from the inputs to the outputs. If the weight changes results in the reduction in a number of errors, accept the weight change, otherwise restore the original weight. And the sixth step is to repeat the step 5 for all the layers except the input layer. If necessary, the sequence in step 5 and 6 can be repeated with triplets of units or quadruples of units or even larger combinations until satisfactory results are obtained. MADLIN for translation are invariant. Various MADLIN structures have been used recently to demonstrate the applicability of this architecture to adaptive pattern organization, having the properties of translation invariance, rotation invariance, scale invariance. So these three properties are essential to any robust system that would be called on and recognize objects in the field of view of optical or infrared sensors. Associative memory networks. It is used to enable to retrieve a piece of data from only a tiny sample itself. It is also called as an CAM, content addressable memories. So contrast to data's addressable memory. It has a set of patterns as memories. Stored patterns must be unique in this associative memory networks. If the same pattern exists more than one location in the CAM, address is found to be ambiguous. Hamming distance is the number of mismatched components of X and X dash vectors. Architecture may be a feed forward or iterative one. There are two types of memories. First one is auto-associative memory and second one is heteroassociative memory. So training algorithms, two algorithms. First one is Hebb rule and second one is outer product rule. As we saw in the first video section, Hebb rule is used to find the weights of an associative memory neural network. The training vector pairs are denoted by S to T. Outer product rule. Alternative method for finding weight of an associative net. Here the input is S is equal to S1 to Sn and output is taken as T, where T1 to Tm. So outer product is an architecture or a general classification. The outer product of two vectors is the product of matrices S is equal to St and T is equal to small t between n cross 1 matrix and 1 cross m matrix. The transpose is taken from input matrix is given in the picture. Next, auto-associative memory network. Training input and target output vectors are same. Determination of weight is called storing of vectors. Weight is set of 0, auto-associative net with no self-connection, and it increases net ability to generalize. This is an architecture. Here we are taking more than one input which is interconnect with the another input layer and takes the individual output from the two interconnected layers. Here the input and the target output vectors are same. The input vector has n inputs and output vector has n outputs. The input and the output are connected through weighted connections. Training algorithm, the first step is to initialize the weight to 0. For each of the vector that has to be stored, we have to perform the steps 2 and 4 repeatedly. Then activate the input layers for the training input. Then the output layer has to be activated. Then we have to adjust the weight connection between the inputs. So here the weight can also be found by the equation. W is equal to summation of P is equal to 1 to mu St rho into S of rho. An auto-associative network can be used to determine whether the given vector is a known or unknown vector. A net is said to recognize a known vector if the net produces a pattern of activation on the output which is same as one stored. Testing algorithm. First step is to set the weights obtained from the Hebb's rule. The second step is for testing the input vector, and second step is to activate the input is equal to the input vector. Third step is used to calculate the net input for each output unit, and fourth step to calculate the output by applying the activation vector over the net input. Heteroassociative memory network. The training input and target output vectors are different. Determination of weight is by Hebb rule or delta rule. Input has n units and output has m units, and there is a weight interconnection between input and output. Testing algorithm. There are also general steps for heteroassociative algorithms. First, to initialize the weight of the training algorithm. Second step is to perform the steps 2 to 4 for each input vector presented. Second step is to activate the inputs equal to the current vector, that is j is equal to 1 to m. Determine the activation of the output units. The output vector y is obtained gives the pattern associated with the input vector x. If the responses are binary, then the activation function will be y of j is equal to 1 to 0. Next, bidirectional associative memory, BAM. It is developed by Cosco in the year of 1988. It performs the backward and forward search. It encodes binary or bipolar pattern using Hebbian learning rule. Two types of Hebbian learning rules. First one is discrete BAM and second one is continuous BAM. This is the architecture of the BAM. Here the weights are bidirectional. X layer has n input units and the Y layer has m output units. The weight matrix from X to Y is W and from Y to X is WT. Discrete bidirectional auto-associative memory. Here, weight is found to be the sum of outer product of bipolar form and activation function is defined with non-zero threshold. How to determine the weight is the input vector is denoted by S of rho and the output vector is denoted by T of rho. Then the weight matrix is denoted by S of P rho is equal to S1 of rho up to Sn of rho and the output is denoted by T of rho from T1 of rho to Tm of rho. Weight matrix is determined using the Hep's rule. Here if the input vector is binary then the weight matrix W. If the input vectors are bipolar, the weight matrix is also W. When the weight matrix will be the bipolar form, neither the input vectors are binary or not. Activation function for BAM. The activation function is based on whether the input target vector pairs used are binary or bipolar. The activation function of Y layer with binary input vectors. With bipolar input vector, Yj is denoted by Yj is equal to 1 if Yinj is greater than theta g, Yj if Yinj is equal to theta j, minus 1 if Ynij is less than theta j. If threshold value is equal to the net input, then the previous output value is calculated, is left as the activation of that unit. So signals are sent only from one layer to other or not and not in both directions. Testing algorithm tests the noisy patterns entering into the network. So these are the following steps. First one is to initialize the weight to store the row vectors and also initialize all the activations to 0. The first step is to perform the steps 2 to 6 for each testing input. The second step is to set the activation of X layer to current input patterns presenting the input X to X layer and presenting the input pattern Y to Y layer. It is bidirectional memory. The third step is to perform the 4 to 6 steps when the activations are not convergent. The fourth step is to update the activation of inputs in Y layer. And the fifth step is to update the activation of the unit in X layers. Then the sixth step is to test for the convergence of the nets. The convergence occurs if the activation vectors X and Y each equilibrium. If this occurs, then stop. Else you have to continue the previous steps to obtain the output. It uses a logistic sigmoid function as the activation function for all units. It may be a binary sigmoid or bipolar sigmoid. So bipolar sigmoid function with a high gain converges to vector state and acts like DBAM. If the input vector are binary, the weights are determined using the formula Yij is equal to summation of rho is equal to 1 to p, where 2 Si of rho minus 1 to Tj of rho minus 1. If the binary logistic function is used, then the activation function will be f of y in is equal to 1 by 1 plus e power minus y in j. Next, Hopfield networks. It is developed in a model in the year of 1982. Hopfield promoted construction of the first analog VLSI network chip. There are two types of networks. First one is discrete Hopfield and second one is continuous Hopfield. Discrete Hopfield network. It is an auto-associative, fully interconnected single-layer feedback network. Symmetrically, it is a weighted network which operated in discrete fashion. It is called as a discrete Hopfield network and its architecture as a single layer feedback is called as a recurrent. So that in general there are two inputs, that is binary and bipolar. Use of bipolar makes analysis easier. no self connections is needed between the inputs. Only one updates its activation at a time. Any input pattern is applied to the network and the network's output is initialized accordingly. Initialized pattern remove the initialized output and becomes new updated input through the feedback connections. Process continues until no new updated responses are produced and the network reaches its equilibrium. The asynchronous updation is called as energy function of the function for the net output. Energy function proves that the net will converge to a stable set of activations. This is an architecture and there is no interconnection between the individual inputs as we saw in the previous slide. So here the processing elements with two outputs, inverting and non-inverting. Outputs from each processing elements are fed back to the input of other processing elements and not to itself. The connections are resistive. There is no negative resistors, so existatory connections uses positive inputs and inhibitory uses inverted inputs. So excitatory output same as input. Inhibitory means input is different from the output. Weight is positive if both units are on. If connection strength negative, then one of the unit is off. Weights are symmetric, that is Wij is equal to Wji. Training algorithm. For storing a set of binary patterns, the weight matrix W is given as Wij is equal to summation of P is equal to 1 to gamma. For the storing bipolar patterns, the weight is given as this equation. So there is no self connection between Wij, which is equal to 0. First is to initialize the weight to store the pattern. So the initial weights are obtained from the training algorithm steps. To initialize, the weights obtained from the training algorithm using the Hebb rule. The first step is to activate activations and not conversions. I have to perform the steps 2 to 8. So second step is to perform the steps 3 to 7 for each input vector. And the third is to make the initial activation equal to external input vectors. The fourth step is to perform steps 5 to 7 for each unit. So the fifth one have to calculate the net input of the network and the next step is to apply the activation function over the net input to calculate the output. The seventh one is to feedback the obtained output to all other units. And the last process is to test the network for convergence. Analysis of energy function and storage capacity of discrete Hopfield net. So the energy function is bounded and is no increasing function of the state of system. And this function determines the stability property and also have an energy function. The network stable here is the energy function decreases. Assume that the node I changes its states. A positive definite function EF of y can be found such that EF of y is continuous for all components yi for I is equal to 1 to n. So, this equation indicates that the energy function is decreasing with time. So, the storage capacity C is equal to 0.15 n. So, here the n is mentioned as number of neurons in the net. Continuous Hopfield network. Here, the discrete can be converted to continuous if time is a continuous variable. It is used in associative memory problems or traveling salesman problem. Here, the nodes have continuous graded output and the energy decreases continuously with time. The electronic circuit which uses nonlinear amplifiers and resistors and used in building Hopfield with VLSI technology. It is a hardware model for the Hopfield network. A model has an N amplifiers mapping its output voltage U into an output voltage Y where an activation function is mentioned as A. The activation function used can be sigmoid function. Here the lambda is a gain parameter and the continuous becomes discrete when gamma tends to alpha. the input capacitance Ci and the input conductance Gri, the external signal Xi. Here the external signal supply the constant current to the entire circuit. Next, iterative auto-associative networks. Here the net does not respond to the input signal with the stored target pattern and respond like stored patterns. The use of first response as input to the net again. Here the iterative auto-associative network recovered original stored vector when presented with test vector close to it. The recurrent auto-associative networks will be used for the first response as input to the net again. And this is the end of this video section. Thank you very much for your patient listening. We will meet in the next video section. Thank you.